This is going to be the most valuable hour you'll spend learning about Twitter. In the next 60 minutes, I'm going to show you everything about building an engaged audience on X. No basic tips, no random tactics, or no outdated strategies. I'm talking about the exact system I used to go from 0 to 3.7k followers, build an engaged community, get consistently viral tweets, and also generate multiple 5 figures income from my very small brand. And I help hundreds of people do the same. Like Kyle, he went from 300 followers to 1k plus followers working with me in a few months. Or Yukio, he was getting 50 views per post, and after we started working with him, we focused on working on his engaging writing and actually creating good hooks and adding his personality, and then he started to get 500 to 1k views per post and actually consistently growing. Or Jaden, Adam and Ahmed and many others who got their first client working with me building their brand on X. Everything that I'm going to show you here is working in 2024, but it also will be working in 2025. In fact, it's actually more effective than ever because most people are still using outdated tactics from 2 to 3 years ago, and they simply don't work because those people that's selling these tactics use them to grow basically 2 to 3 years ago, and now they have a big audience and now they are selling these tactics, but actually in the current ecosystem they don't work. So grab a notebook, close down your other tabs and get ready to take notes from this video. So let's get started. In this full guide, we are going to talk about how to grow on Twitter/X. This guide is by me, and we are going to also discover how to build an engaged audience as well as building a multiple 5-figure business around it just by posting tweets. So this is the proven 12-step system you can use to get your next 5 clients and attract 1k plus audience of engaged fans. And this is obviously without a large audience, without more than 3 hours per day, without spamming cold DMs, or without being cringe to get views. So you are in the right place to grow and monetize your brand on X. In this course, I'm going to break down the leverage creator model that I follow to build a multiple 5-figure online business with a tiny personal brand. But I'm not some unicorn social media prodigy because I also generated results for my 10 plus other clients, and to prove that this isn't like. So what I share is the strategies that allow me to generate 4 million plus views, build an engaged community of 3.7k followers, and build an email list of 1k plus creators, generate multiple 5 figures from my small brand, work with 10 plus high ticket clients, launch a new offer and close 5 tickets in the first 14 days. So if you want to learn and implement the same model for your business on X, grab a coffee and let's dive in. So first of all, here is some proof. I use Stripe for all of the payments. So here is some Mercury payments, some Stripe payments to show you some proof. Yeah, but this is not only about revenue. I wanted to impact tens of people, if not millions. So I became a mad scientist and basically tried every type of content strategy, networking strategy, every type of hack, technique that I can find so that I can basically fine tune my strategies, test them, and actually find the best strategies for you. So some people say that the algo is down, but the algo is just another name for people. It just shows people what they want to see. So with Leverage Creator, we are always growing, we are always testing. Like, of course, there are some things that are happening sometimes, but still we are consistently attracting the right people, consistently nurturing them, building relationships with them, building authority. So that's why we can attract these people, but also actually get clients from them. So this is actually an old screenshot. Maybe I need to renew this, but I have like more views right now, more subscribers right now. So yeah, now I'll help you do the same. So here is what I'm going to cover in this course. So I broke it down to 3 steps. First of all, the leverage creator base. This is all about the foundations. We are going to basically talk about the foundations to make the success inevitable, offer and positioning alchemy, and then magnetic content to both get views and actually build relationships. And then we are going to talk about the high status networking to supercharge your growth and authority while building a solid network. And then the second phase is the Ascension phase. In this phase, we are going to build a thriving community out of our network. And then we are going to use our network and our community and the content to actually build insane momentum and stack momentum to basically get more momentum. So after that, we have a lot of momentum, a lot of growth right now, so it makes a lot of sense to build our email list and actually get a lot of subscribers and monetize them, because email list is like a super high ROI thing. After that, we are going to talk about my perfect offer launch framework to launch your first offer and get your first few clients in your first offer launch. And then we are going to talk about the leverage client acquisition phase. In this phase is all about DM risk, full stack lead gen to get leads from a lot of different sources, because at this point we are generating a lot of traffic and it makes sense to actually generate a lot of leads from all these different sources. So in this phase, in this chapter, we are going to talk about that. After that, there's a smooth sales and then A+ service delivery part. So let's get started with the leverage creator phase. In this phase, we are going to set the foundation strong. I've never seen a strong brand that's built on weak foundations. So not doing these foundations is the main reason why 90% of people don't make money online. So that's why we are going to cover it. And the first one is the foundations. So first of all, we are going to talk about human psychology a little bit, and then X algorithm basics, and then your profile funnel to make sure that we have our foundation straight. So first of all, the human psychology is all about input and stimulus equals output. What this means is, for example, if someone sees your hook and if they don't read it, the stimulus here is your hook from your post. The input is the attention you get to people, and the output is that the desired output is that we want people to actually read our post. But if our hook, which is the stimulus, is not strong, people won't read it, we won't get the desired output. Or if our hook is good but it's not for the right people, if a wrong person sees it, basically we won't get the desired output, because that person, the wrong input, won't care about the output. So that's the basic of it. And with this understanding, basically we can reverse engineer everything and actually create the right results. Because if you don't get the desired result that you want, if you basically understand that either the input or stimulus should be fixed, now you can work on that and go from the output to the basically input and actually reverse engineer the result. And the next thing is the algorithm. That's the next thing that we want to master if we want to get our foundation straight. So first of all, X is the most social platform. What this means is X optimizes for conversations, X optimizes for being social, and why it does that is basically every social platform wants to make their users stay on the platform, and that's why actually they optimize for different things. For example, on YouTube, it's all about like maybe edits or raw authentic content, like it changes. But for example, on Instagram, it's about like lifestyle, aesthetics, all that stuff. So people, or reels, they are basically using these things to kind of make people stay on the platform. But on X, it's all about conversations. It's all about being social. So X wants people to stay on the platform by basically making people have conversations and actually be social. Yeah, we can see that a like can boost your post by 0.5 times and a retweet can boost your post in the algorithm by 1 times. But you can see that a reply boosts your post by 13.5 points, which is like a huge margin there. So it optimizes for the replies. And another thing is, as you can see here, if the author of the post replies to the post, it boosts your post even more, because now X thinks that, okay, someone replied to this post, and if the author also replied, there's like a huge chance that like there are going to be a lot of conversations here, and it thinks that it's a good thing because it makes people stay on the platform by conversation. So it's also important to reply to your own post because it creates that social environment. So that's about it. And the next thing is your profile funnel, because basically we have 8 seconds to make a good first impression, otherwise we are screwed. So people judge a book by its cover, and it's human nature. So make sure your first impression is impactful. Your profile picture, header, bio will be the first impression of you. So make sure you are attracting the right audience with that and actually target the right people. When in doubt, check out my profile or check out other people that are a few steps ahead of you, because those are the people that you want to emulate. if you want to emulate people that are 100 steps ahead of you with 200k followers, it doesn't make sense because those people are too ahead of you and they are actually playing a different game. So these are some elements of a killer profile. So first of all, bio, the link is really important. Make sure you have a custom domain, and with bio you want to have three things. First thing is your value proposition, how do you help people. The second thing is your authority, what have you done, what makes you stand apart. And then the third thing is basically something personal or something with humor. So those are the three things that makes up a perfect bio. And then the banner is really important. With banner, I want you to keep it a little bit general to attract more people, because I see a lot of people have these direct offers in their banner, and first of all it seems salesy, but second of all you really isolate people, and if you are really specific with your banner, you are missing out on growth opportunities, because we want to kind of build a general audience, not too general, but people that are interested in your stuff. They don't have to be ready to buy from you right now. They can still be your followers if they are a little bit interested. So that's what we want to achieve with the banner. And make sure your username is your name or your surname or something like, or make it short, just the first letter of your name with your surname, something like that. But I want you to avoid like numbers, like other different like signs, characters. So you want to just keep it name, surname. If it's not available, you can add like some other keywords like SaaS, maybe like marketing, maybe, I don't know, like it depends on your niche. It can be fitness. And with the pinned post, we want to like start building relationships and authority as fast as possible. Another thing is follower ratio. This is also really important because it shows authority. If your following is higher than your followers, this seems low value to most people because you follow more people than people follow you. This is also really important, especially if you have low followers. This can be like a bit close, maybe if you have 500 followers, like you are following 200 people, but make sure it's less than your followers. So this is also something important. Make sure you have a clean profile picture that shows your face, which is like a close-up. We want people to see our face from the timeline because people like really likes looking at faces, so that's basically generates attention. And after that, of course, you have the blue check mark. And another cool hack here is that we can use the location part for CTA, because this is the location part. And now I added context here. If I just put the website link here, maybe people wouldn't know that basically this website is about something about maybe monetization. But if I put it here, this is like a CTA with the arrow, and now people understand what's inside. And now if people have clarity, they are a lot more likely to take a certain action. So here is a summary. If you want people to take a certain action, you need to have the right input and stimulus. And on X, the algo optimizes for conversations. That's how it keeps people on the platform. So we want to help the algorithm so that it can help us. So that's the goal here. And then an optimized profile is key for first impression, as well as both attracting people and also making people stay. So that's why it's super important. And then now we are going to talk about the offer and positioning alchemy. So in this phase, we are going to talk about how we can create content out of our offer and how our content and basically offer is matching. Also, another thing is how we can make our offer stand out, because as you also know, there are a lot of people offering similar things, which is it makes it a bit hard to stand out. But in order to make money, in order to get clients, you always need to stand out. So here are the two main mistakes that I see people make. They either look at their competitors and they copy exactly what they do. So this is what I talk about mainly about the saturation. This creates the saturation, and now people don't stand out. But also there are these other group of people that they want to come up with this fresh new idea that's never done before. But this can also be a mistake, like most of the time, because most of the time this idea doesn't have demand. You just come up with something and you don't know that people actually want this, because if we want to sell something, we want to sell something that people actually want. So So in order to create the offer and positioning alchemy, I break this down to 3 steps. First, understanding the market, and then sell something people that actually want, and build your authentic positioning so that you can stand out. So when it comes to understanding the market, we have to basically make this alignment that our skills and our basically experiences, our network, the industries we know should match with market's needs and desires. That's the alignment that we want to have, because the most important part of niching down is actually niching down after a problem. Because if you just know an industry and if you just have a skill, maybe you would think that you would provide value to people, but if you don't find a problem there, it's hard for people to like recognize you, because they don't see because they won't feel the pain, and if there is no pain, there is no value that you can provide. Another important question is, how accessible is your market? If you want to build your brand on X, you have to know that the people that you are targeting is already on X, because that's really important. If people are not there, it's hard to basically target them, or it's hard to kind of attract them because they are not there. Yeah, the next thing is selling something that they actually want, like we talked about before, because building an offer is community now. $100 million offers by Alex Hormozy made the skill of creating an offer commoditized, because thousands of people read it, and now everyone can create these offers that has the guarantees, that has the desired results, that basically have the like risk reversal, all that stuff. So it's really important to now build your brand, to build trust, because let's face it, like if both of us have the same offer, who would you buy from? I think the answer is really clear. You would buy from this guy. And that's why standing out is more important than your actual offer. But we'll still need to do these to actually build a good offer, because we still need to have a bold claim, a time frame, unique mechanism, and effort and sacrifice, and a risk reversal in our offer, so that we can actually show our offer. But at the same time, we need to also stand out, because everyone has these thanks to Alex Hormozy's book. So that's really important. And once we do all of these, the next thing is having our authentic positioning so that we can stand out. So we need to have a big idea, a common enemy, and actually our personality and story. So the big idea is mainly everyone wants to go to a desired result, but the big idea is about how you get there. For example, in fitness, you have, for example, you want to diet down, but there are different diets. Like everyone wants to lose weight, but you can do it with carnivore diet, you can do it with like while being vegan, or you can do it with like keto, all that stuff. So that's the big idea, how you achieve the desired result. And then it's important to have a common enemy, because sometimes the common enemy is even more important than the big idea, because people really like that polarization. And the last thing is your personality and your story. So you can see that I always share my personality, my story, my journey, what I'm doing that day, like where I'm traveling, and like where was I last month, what did I do, all that stuff, because this really builds the trust and relationships. Because when you actually, I asked my clients like why they chose me, besides okay, like they wanted to grow and monetize their brand, but all of them answered something differently, and they all came down to like it all comes down to my personality. One of them said that he chose me because I was also an engineer, and one of them said that he chose me because we were around same age. One of them said that he chose me because like his younger self looks similar to me. So like if I didn't share my personality, if I didn't share all about these things, maybe they wouldn't choose me. So it's always important to basically add your story, add your unique experiences. This is really important. So building your irresistible offer is important, but actually also it's important to leverage your story, experiences, build your big idea so that you can stand out from other people that have similar offers, similar value propositions. So that's why it's really important. Okay, now let's talk about how to create magnetic content. Because content is the most important part of any online business. Content is leverage. I used to engage for hours and still get no results. Trying to build momentum with engaging plus bad content is like filling a leaky bucket. My content used to suck when I started, and yeah, so my content used to suck when I started, and the second picture is now. So this is like when I first started, and this is like now. Now it has like hook, good formatting, good structure, personal, talks about myself, but also builds authority. So that's the type of content we want to create. Of course, there are a lot of different content types, but this is like one of them. So I need to work 10 times harder than most people to reverse engineer what good content is, because at first I was actually really bad at creating contents. Like my content used to be always like how to contents, like how to do this, how to do that, the type of content that people can find online. And actually it's really bad, because if people can just look it up on YouTube, if people can just look it up on Google, like why would they follow you? Like if you don't share your journey, if you don't share your personality, or if you don't share your authority to stand out, like there's no reason for people to follow you to get that information. They can basically get it everywhere. So that's the point here. Basically, there are mostly two types of people on X lately. First, the people that post wild stuff, like cringe stuff, or maybe too controversial, like too, I don't know, like stupid stuff, and they get a lot of views, but they build no authority. Even like these views, like most of the time, don't even convert into followers, let alone clients. So that's that, like they build no authority. Or there are other people that they post like very boring technical stuff. It's very in-depth, it's very technical, and it shows their like expertise, but this gets no views and builds little authority, because people also need to, because you need to also show social proof to build authority, because we are living on a like a social world, basically a social environment, social media. And when people see the likes, when people see the views, they take you more seriously. Let's say two people shares the same thing. If one of them gets like 100 times more views, people take that person more seriously. This is just the way it is. Like people are shallow, so we have to work around that. And another thing is, when you post these two boring technical stuff, like what I do, like what I did before, you get no traffic, you get no views. And if no one knows that you have value, it doesn't matter that you have value, because people won't see it, people won't discover you. So good content basically should do three things. First, it should get a lot of eyeballs from the right people. Secondly, it should build authority and trust with them. And thirdly, it should give value, so that people can understand that if you are giving this value for free, if they pay you, now they will get more value. So you don't have to like post these over the technical stuff, but it's good to show value by showing your results or giving insights. It's pretty important. So for example, I was working with this guy. He had like less than 200 followers, and we worked on his authority content, like targeting people's pain points and showing his expertise in his content. And even though he had 200 followers and very little traffic, we managed to book sales calls from his content, because we managed to show his authority well. So that's the power of basically creating content that both attracts the right people, even though it's not a lot. It wasn't a lot at that time. It's important to show authority. So that's how you can basically book sales calls or attract clients from your content. And the other thing is, you have to get a lot of eyeballs from the right people. Sorry to break it down to you, but if your content is hard to read, people won't read it, because we are on social media, and on social media people are just scrolling. And even though maybe you are targeting a really technical audience, let's say you are targeting SaaS founders, let's say you are targeting engineers, maybe even though you are targeting like these high IQ people, they are just on social media scrolling. So if you just post this over the technical content, even though they are technical people, they won't read it, because still it's social media and people scroll on it to basically just spend time. It's important to do it intentionally with good hooks, good formatting, adding emotions, so that people can actually read what you have to say. And when it comes to that, I break it down to three things: hook, formatting, and the visual. Hook is the most important part of the content, coupled with the idea. The idea should be interesting or useful to them, but if the hook doesn't attract them, if the hook doesn't generate emotion, they still won't read it. And after they read the hook, the second hook is basically the formatting, because first they read the hook and now Now they look at your post, they are thinking that like, is it worth reading? Is it worth not reading? Is it like too much effort, or can I just skim through it? So it's really important to have good formatting to make them basically continue reading. And besides that, we have the visual side. We also know that from the X algorithm, from the open source X algorithm, visuals boost the post a lot in the algorithm. But besides that, it basically adds another element that people can look at, and this increases the watch time of your post, which also increases the boost of your post. So it's important to add relevant visuals that are interesting. So that's another hack. So I focus on lists, white space, varying sentence lengths to keep it fresh. If you just, even if short sentences usually perform better, if you just post short sentences, it doesn't make it fresh, it gets boring. So varying sentence lengths and 1-3-1 rule, which is like one sentence, like line break, 3 sentences, and then one sentence is basically like this one. So one sentence, 3 bullet points, one sentence, which is like a good formatting structure to keep the attention. And then the other thing with the content is that it should build authority and trust, because the social media landscape has changed a lot lately. You can get a lot of views, but you can't get clients without building authority and trust, because we are living in a trust economy right now, and just getting attention is not enough. Now people like to first trust you, they'll investigate you, they'll be sure that you have the results that they want to have, and then they can basically pay you money. So one of the most important things on how to do this is building in public, because when you share your journey, when you share your story, now people have a reason to trust you. If you don't share your story, it's basically very hard to make people trust you. That's why how content is key. It's not how to do this, which people can find this on Google. It's about how you do these things and your results. You can say that I generated these results and this is how I did it. So now people look at how you did it and see that, okay, this is this guy's methods, this guy's strategies, and now they see the results, and now they can connect your methods with the results. So this like builds that authority, builds that trust. Because if you don't talk about yourself, if you don't talk about your methods, like why would people trust you? Because you can just look it up on Google and say that basically how to do this, like how to increase your open rates, and this doesn't show your authority because it's not about you, it's not something you did, and what you did and your results are the things that build your authority. And then the next thing is leading with emotion, because as I also said, people are just scrolling on social media and logical statements are very hard to attract people with. That's why we like to use emotions in our hooks to attract people, because people will forget what you tell them. People will forget the logic, but people don't forget how you make them feel. That's why it's important to create content that sparks emotion. And when it comes to that, I focus on two things, either relatability or polarizing content. For example, when you talk about your journey in a certain way, like you talk about the challenges you faced and you talk about the wins you got, all that stuff, and now people are following your journey and they are feeling what you are feeling and they are relating with you. That's really important to spark emotions. And the next thing is polarizing, as I said. So in order to pull some people, you need to push some people. That's really important, and that's the last step of creating banger content. To summarize, good content gets the right eyeballs and builds trust with them. Don't fall into the trap of empty content with a lot of views or technical content with no views. We want both. We both want a lot of views with the right people and build relationships, build authority with them by building in journey, by building in public and sharing our journey. So, and the last thing is we need to package it up well so that it's easily consumable for the people that are just scrolling on social media. That's also really important. But in order to boost all of our efforts when it comes to creating content, networking is really important, because if you are just starting out, if you don't have any audience, no one will engage with your content and no one will see it. In order to get the ball rolling, we need to build a strong network, because more friends means more growth plus more clients. So when it comes to networking, you can't actually lose. So networking and engaging is just fuel to the fire. It's really important, but another thing to remember is that you can't out-network or out-engage a bad content strategy. That's why we talked about the magnetic content. If you are doing all the things in the magnetic content, doing the high status networking will really boost everything. So it's really important to first do this and then focus on networking. But also it's really important to have the DM etiquette when it comes to networking. So your first DM to someone should never be an ask. We should always give first, and even like not a pitch, because there are a lot of people like asking for retweets, asking for like comments, asking for engagement, or even cold pitching. If you do this, if you first ask people something, you'll never build a solid relationships with them, because in the relationships it's all about giving and then receiving. So it's really important to first give value and build your relationship in a strong bond, because if you just focus on the short-term gains, you will lose a lot on the long-term gains. So it's long-term gains. So it's really important to optimize for the long-term gains when you build your solid network. So people will basically smell that you are going to sell something. People will smell the neediness. So it's really important to come from a high status background, like come from a high status ground, so that you are here to give, and now they are basically feel very natural to support you. Engaging is really important, especially when it comes to a beginner, because at first you don't get that much traffic, and engaging generates the eyeballs, and good content keeps the eyeballs, because at first your content will not get many eyeballs, and with engagement we are basically getting the ball rolling, and then your content starts to get some traction, and then you keep boosting it with engagement, and then after some point your content starts rolling more, and now your content also starts to become an attention generating machine, and now your content becomes the main driver of engagement, main driver of growth. That's the type of pathway that we want to go, but at first we want to boost our content with engagement. That's really important. So now I still engage with others almost every day. I used to hate engaging because I was engaging 100 times a day with little to no results. Now I engage 20 times a day for fun, just to support my friends. That's it. And when I have the right mindset, right strategy behind engaging just 20 to 30 times a day can be better than 100 times a day, because most people are just engaging with people that don't care about them. Most people are just engaging with random people. They are not building relationships. And when it comes to engaging and networking, the first thing that I would focus on is supporting the people that are already supporting me. I go to people that support me and I support them, because if they support me before, they are a lot more likely to support me again as engaging, like liking, commenting, all that stuff. And the second part is finding people that will engage with me, that will support me. So choosing the right people to engage with to maximize our efforts, because most people just engage with random people. It's important to find people in a similar niche and then look at them and see if they are already engaging, if they are already making an effort to support others. And now you can think that, okay, this guy is already doing the engagement and now he can also support me. So that's also like a good qualifying thing to have when you are choosing people to build your network with. To summarize, networking and engagement is just fuel to the fire, and especially when you are just starting out, you basically have no fire, so you have to start the fire with engaging. And the goal is to engage for fun, not being forced to engage for growth. So you need to choose the right people that you resonate with, not just choose random people, and avoid being needy at all costs. Always give before you ask. Always say that, like, I really liked your content, I just supported you, like, good job, you are doing great, all that stuff. And then they'll subconsciously think that, okay, this guy is supporting me, now I'll support him. So that's the type of like the networking effect that we want to create. So these are all the 4 chapters in the first base, which is the foundations. So to summarize all of it, if you want people to take a certain action, you need the right input and the right stimulus. If one thing is not working, you can reverse engineer things from there, and the algorithm optimizes for conversations. That's why we want to generate conversations to help algorithm so that it can help us. And an optimized profile is key for making the first impression, because first impression is all that matters. And then the next thing is build your irresistible offer, but know that everyone can make claims. So we need to differentiate ourselves with our big idea, with the common enemy, with our personality, with our journey, all that stuff. So like I told you before, so good content gets the right eyeballs and also builds trust. So we shouldn't choose one. We need to push both to get the actual best results from our content, and don't fall into the trap of empty content with a lot of views or technical content. As I said, we want both to attract the right people and actually build relationships with them. And the next thing is, in order to get a lot of eyeballs, we need to package it up well, make it easily consumable, because on social media people are just scrolling and we are fighting for their attention, so it's really important. And the next thing is networking and engaging, which is fuel to the fire. And the goal with networking is that just network with people that you like, that you resonate with, and don't force it, and especially don't be needy. And if you just follow all these things, you'll build a solid network that supports you. And now this will be the fuel to the fire when it comes to your growth, attracting the right people, and actually increasing your engagement. Okay, now we are at Leverage Creator Ascension. Now we can build on strong foundations. So now it gets even more fun. So in this phase, it's all about accelerating our momentum and authority by building our community, by building momentum, by building our email list and launching our offer. So this is all about in this phase. So this is all we are gonna cover. And this phase will make you a leader and attract your loyal fans, which will happily pay you in the long run. So let's start with building our thriving community. So in order to become a leader, you need to build a community, and having a community of other serious creators or experts from your niche will instantly position you as an authority and leader, because now you'll have the opportunity to build trust and relationships on a higher level because of the familiarity bias, because now they are seeing you on timeline, now they are seeing you maybe in emails, now they are seeing you in your community and all of this stuff. So it's like the repetition and familiarity bias is really important to becoming likable and actually building relationships. So that's why I recommend building a community. And with the community, you are not only interacting with in one way with the people. Now people can also interact with each other. So it's not just you interacting with someone and everyone is interacting. And also keep in mind that this is also happening in your community, which also adds to your credibility, adds to your authority, because even though other people are engaging with each other, it's your community which adds to your authority. So this is really important. I built a community of 230 plus creators, and it really helped me when it comes to me positioning myself as a leader. So multiple people told me that this is the best community that they have joined. I have a lot of testimonials there, so just probably you can click here to go there. And if you want to join, this is also a link to join, which is the free document in the description. Yeah, so creating your community is cool, but there's a catch, because not everyone can be a leader. In order to become a leader, you need to build a community, right? And you can't build a community if you don't have a network, if you don't have friends. That's why in the previous chapter we focused on high status networking, where we built our cross circle, where we built our network, a solid network, so that the next step is building a community with our close circle. And after that, it expands to even more people, and then even more people, your friends, and then their friends, and all that stuff, if you provide value in your community. So that's really important. So the main thing here is that first we build our close circle, and then our network, and then it turns into a community. That's why I pointed out here that not everyone can be a leader. First you need to build your community. So that's another important thing. So to summarize, the community positions you as an authority, as a leader, but it also increases your engagement, which is also very important, increases the familiarity bias, increases the repetition of your name, which is really cool, and build your network, then your community. That's why you need to be a leader That's why you need to build your network to be a leader. So let's go to the next one, the momentum wizardry. You see all these people that are growing and monetizing super fast. That's because of momentum. And that's actually one of the really strong points of X, because there is no other platform that you can build momentum like this. It feels like everyone is like living in this small town and everyone is knowing each other. And like on X, you have this feeling, but so you can keep sharing your wins, keep sharing your journey. You can say that I did this, like I get a loss, but now I won, I did this, I achieved this result, and everyone is supporting you, like everyone is cheering up, all that stuff. So if you are the cool guy, if you are making moves, like you are easily attracting momentum, easily attracting attention. And like on YouTube, obviously this is not possible, but on IG, on TikTok, also this is not possible. So X is a really good platform to build momentum, and that's why actually X is the best platform for beginners to start, because it's really easy to build momentum and we want to leverage that. So yeah, and that's how I actually got 5 high ticket clients in 14 days, made 2K plus in 6 days, and actually got 120K views in 7 days. So it's all connected. When one thing is doing good, everything is doing good. So we have to leverage that and keep stacking momentum. So the momentum can also be positive, but it can also be negative. We have to make sure that we always have positive acceleration, because I'm sure you know these big accounts that die and they get very low engagement because their acceleration slowly decreases, and at some point they get no engagement, they get no momentum, and at that point they can attract new eyeballs. So it's really important to always keep it, always preserve it, because that's how you can get fast results. So it's pretty straightforward. When you are getting clients, it's easier to get clients. When you are growing more is easier, and also when you are growing, getting clients is easier, and it's like a loop. So when you are getting results, getting more results is easier. So that's really important. And here's how I troubleshoot the momentum. So people sometimes come to me and ask like why they lost their momentum. So building and sustaining momentum is no luck, and I usually look at these. So when it comes to like troubleshooting their momentum, first I look at, are you engaging, are you networking right now? Because especially if you are a beginner, if you are not networking, if you are not engaging, like it's almost very impossible to build momentum unless you are a celebrity, unless you are making millions of dollars. It's very highly unlikely that you'll build momentum without doing this. And the second thing is building authority. Are you sharing things that stand out? Are you different than other people, or are you just sharing same thing? Or the other thing is, as I also talked about before, engaging writing is really important. The hooks, the formatting, if you are not writing in an engaging way, people will not engage. So that's also something that will going to kill your momentum. And the other thing is sparking emotion. When it comes to writing, we always want our content to spark emotion, because that's the easiest way to attract people and pull people in, because everyone is emotional and we want to leverage that. Always keep these things in mind when it comes to troubleshooting your momentum, because if your momentum is decreasing, if your momentum is not existent, it's always one of these things, and we need to basically do everything here to keep having a positive momentum to get fast results, because that's what X is all about. That's why it's the best beginner platform. You can get started and get results pretty quick, and in order to leverage that, we have to do all of these things. So to summarize, all of these people that are growing and monetizing super fast, it's because of momentum, and we need to plan ahead and have a long-term content and networking strategy so that we can keep stacking these different events and create the attention and actually troubleshoot our momentum and have all these things in place so that we can keep getting fast results on X. Okay, so now let's talk about email sales machine. Now we are in a really good place to build our email list and actually make sales from our email list. And as most of you probably know, an email list is your best asset, because it's even better than the social media following. Because when it comes to emails, like there are a few things that makes it the best asset. The first one is safety. You can get banned on social media and actually lose all of your following. I'm sure you've seen this happen for a few people at least. They maybe spent years to build a following of thousands of, maybe tens of thousands of followers, and now they lost all of their following, so all of their efforts like are gone. So but with email this can't happen because you always have your list and you just take it and just use another email service provider. So it's really simple as that. And another thing is email is a great place to build deeper connections, because as we also talked about on social media, in order to get people's attention, in order to get a lot of eyeballs, we need to create posts in a certain way, we need to focus on our hook, the formatting, and we need to talk in a way that will attract people. But email is different because there is no algorithm, and if someone joins your email list, they already like you, they already trust you. That's why it's important to actually talk more freely there, like more free flow, and actually go and actually talk about things in a deeper way. That's how you can build deeper relationships, so you don't have these constraints that my hook has to be like this, my formatting has to be like this, and now you're actually more like yourself and you can build better relationships by being yourself in the emails. Yeah, so how can we grow our email list? It's actually pretty simple, but not that easy, because there are all these gurus that are telling you that you need to build your email list. Like, I made this much money from my email list, like email list is very important. But at the same time, if you are just starting out, building an email list is really hard, because like people are just scrolling on social media and it's hard to convince people to actually give you their email unless you have amazing results, amazing like testimonials, all that stuff. Not testimonials maybe, but unless you have authority. Most people starting out don't have that much authority, and when you don't have that much authority, it's hard to convince people to join. And the other thing is, even if you have authority, like it's a numbers game. A lot of people need to see your like email list. A lot of people needs to go to your landing page, and only a few of them actually will subscribe. So it's really important to generate a lot of traffic, have authority, send people there, give them something for free, a lead magnet, and now you'll start getting email subs. So for example, now I get 5 to 10 email subs every day because I build my authority, and I'm getting like tens of thousands of views every day, maybe 10 to 20k views every day. So out of those views, I convert like 5 to 10 of them to email subscribers. Like, of course, like not 10,000 people go to my landing page, but if my content is seen by 10,000 people, let's say, maybe 100 of them go to my landing page and maybe 5 to 10 of them will join. So we are now optimizing for authority. That's why we did all of these things before building our email list, and now we have traffic, so it's a lot easier to build our email list in that way. And next thing is selling in the emails, because we are building all this email list, but if we are not profiting from it, like what's the reason, right? When it comes to selling in email, it's actually all about having a lot of touch points and making a lot of offers. Because let's think about it, someone go to your landing page, they joined, now they see the thank you page, now you can build trust, build authority, make an offer there. Now they got your welcome email, now they read your welcome email, and you can build trust and authority in your welcome email, and now you can make an offer in your welcome email. Now from your welcome email, they went to your lead magnet. With lead magnet, they are reading your methods, they are reading your strategies, and now they are actually getting to know you better. So at the end of email, at the end of the lead magnet, now you can make another offer, and then after that, they are keep getting emails, you are keep building trust, keep building relationships. As we talked about also in this part, email is a really good place to build deeper relationships, because you can talk more freely and more deeply in some stuff, and some people will resonate with it, some people will not, and that's okay, they can leave, because people that will resonate with it will really like you and trust you. And now with all this repetition, all this like deeper level content, at some point these people will turn into clients, these people will turn into customers. So it's more about the long term. You are keep acquiring new email list subscribers, you are keep nurturing them, and you are keep basically selling them as well as providing value. So that's the goal here. Yeah, so to summarize, building an email list is a must-do for safety and building relationships, especially for safety. And if your content isn't good, people don't want to join your email list and to learn more, Because first they need to see that your content is good, you have some results, and now they can think that, okay, I want to learn more about these people, and at that, more about this person, and at that point they'll join your email list. So that's really important. Actually, in order to make people join your email list, you need to create that feeling that they want to learn more about you. That's the key here. And the more offers you make in the email, the more you can sell. And it's actually a really good place to make a lot of offers, because you have the thank you page, then they get your welcome email, then they see your lead magnet, then they like see the other email. So you have a lot of repetition there, which is pretty cool. So the next step is the perfect offer launch, and I launched a brand new offer in May, and I scaled to 5 high ticket clients in 14 days, all because of this perfect offer launch. And in order to execute this well, you need a few things. The first one is the offer doc, because now we are generating a lot of traffic. It's cool to have like sales calls with everyone, but you will not have that much time. So when it comes to inbound leads, when it comes to hot leads, when it comes to leads from your email, it's really important to have this offer doc so that you can just send to people and let it do its work. If you create the offer doc well, it will do the selling for you, and it will be basically very scalable. Even though it won't have the highest conversion rate as the call, it's really important to have. If you create the right offer doc, it will do the selling for you. So it's designed to convert the hot leads, the inbound leads, the leads from your emails. So here are a few tips to create your offer doc. Don't copy from others, including mine. Write engaging copy, just like a long form. So don't think of it as like a sales page from a big brand that you see online. If people don't find your offer doc engaging, if people don't find your offer doc fun, they probably won't read it. That's why we also need the formatting as the content. And before launching your offer doc, we want to send it to our friends to review, because when you are always exposed to your own stuff, it's hard to see your own problems, it's hard to see your own mistakes. That's why we first send it to our friends, and they can give you the exact feedback that you need, because they are looking at that offer doc with a fresh new eye from outside. That's why it's really important to get new perspectives. If you have a mentor, it's even better to send this to that. So you can also add headlines for quick navigation like this. Like this is not an offer doc, but for example, these headlines. So it's really important. And the most important thing is flexing your results, because people are shallow. People just want to see the results. So why not just flex your results there? That's what people want to see. And here are a few offer promotion secrets that I use. So always keep your offer fresh. People like new stuff. Even if you have the best offer, if you are promoting it for months, you promote it in January, in February, in March, let's say always the same offer, like you won't get the same results. It will slowly decrease. So that's why it's important to keep it fresh. Another thing is using scarcity and urgency, because if it's always available, you are basically a commodity. You set your rules and obey them, but never use fake scarcity. Always have real scarcity. Let's say this is a service-based offer. Maybe physically you can only work with 5 clients. So just say that and basically obey that rule. So this scarcity will actually make people buy into that even more. So that's really important. And here is the offer launch protocol that I use to launch my offer. So before launching your offer, make sure you generate a lot of momentum. This is really important, because as we also talked about in the momentum section, you need to have a lot of momentum to get fast results when it comes to growth, when it comes to clients. Basically, it's a loop. So that's why my offer launch was successful. Then I used my momentum stacking framework to capitalize on the momentum, and I did an omnipresent launch with X, with emails. So how I did it was, I used momentum stacking to basically build my momentum by stacking different events on top, so that you did this, you did that, and all that stuff. It keeps stacking momentum, positive momentum, and you have at some point a lot of momentum. And also when it comes to offer, we want our offer doc to be seen by as many people as possible. So at this point, you also build your email list. And now we are doing an omnipresent launch, which lasts for 2 weeks. So when it comes to these 2 weeks, first week I focus on building my wait list. I say that I am launching my offer next week, And during that week, I'm still promoting it, but I'm building my waitlist. So in the next week that I launch, I have my waitlist, and this basically increases the scarcity even more because now people are in the waitlist and you just launch it and people start buying it and the spots are decreasing and there will be a lot of people that are on the fence to join, like people that are skeptical, like should I join, should I not? And when they see the other people that are joining, especially from the waitlist, now they'll think that, oh, this opportunity is like will not be available, so I should join. So that's the type of basically feeling that we want to create. And to summarize the perfect offer launch, you need an offer doc to summarize your offer, to send people, to sell at scale, and make sure that it's not boring. This is really important because in order for the offer doc to do the selling, people need to actually read it. That's why we need to make it engaging, use real scarcity and urgency tactics, and launch the offer doc after stacking momentum because we want to generate a lot of eyeballs to our email list, to our offer, and to our content, to our authority long forms, to our basic value long forms, all that stuff. So it's really important to generate a lot of traffic. This is also like the traffic is one side, and the social proof will also make you seen as more of an authority figure with a lot of views, a lot of likes. That's also another underrated benefit with this. Yeah, to summarize all of this, leverage creator ascension phase. Let's go through it. First, community positions you as an authority and as a leader. It increases your engagement and your authority. Build your network and then your community because you can't build a community without the network. And momentum allows people to monetize and grow super fast. That's why we are building it. That's the power of X. You can build momentum real fast on X and plan ahead of time your long-term strategy to keep stacking momentum with different events, with different personal stuff, business wins, all that stuff to keep stacking momentum and make sure you troubleshoot your momentum to see the missing pieces, fix them to have sustainable momentum. And building email list is a must do for safety and building relationships to build even deeper relationships. And when building your email list, if your content isn't good, people won't join your email list because first they think that, okay, I should learn more about these people. Then they'll join your email list. We have to first create that feeling. And the more offers you make, the more you can sell. And email is a really good place to actually make a lot of offers. So that's how people can make a lot of sales in the emails. It really works that way. And you need an offer doc to summarize your offer so that you can sell at scale and make sure it's not boring. Make sure people will want to read it and use real scarcity and urgency tactics. Capitalize on the momentum when launching your offer, and hopefully you'll get your first few high ticket clients. So that's the goal here when it comes to building all of this on top and then the perfect offer launch, and you'll get your first few high ticket clients. Okay, now we are at leverage client acquisition, and this is all about monetization. So this will be actually a piece of cake because we built all the momentum, we attracted a lot of traffic, we built our authority, we built relationships with those people, and now we have all these foundations in place. It will be actually really easy to monetize all of this. And this puts us at an amazing position to monetize and give people even more of what they already like. So in this phase, we are going to cover DM risk to make you a DM superstar, full stack lead gen to get and convert leads everywhere, and smooth sales to practice sales actually effectively without worrying about all the sales strategies and little tactics. Okay, let's start with the DM risk. I'll teach you everything I know about booking hundreds of appointments that are worth more than 7 figures in the pipeline value, because before actually building my personal brand on X, I was an appointment setter for a multiple 7-figure online business from someone that I really look up to, and by working there I was able to book a lot of appointments, generate a lot of leads, and actually get this experience. And with this experience, at first I started to help people with lead generation and actually booking appointments, and after that, as I built my brand, I transitioned more into helping people grow as well as generate leads. So this was actually one of my first strong points. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, I'm seeing a lot of gurus that are hating on booking sales calls. They tell you to close the leads without the sales calls. But if you are not making at least 20 to 30k, this is really a bad idea, because try closing 10 people in the DMs and try closing 10 people on the calls. With the calls, you'll have a lot more conversion. So if you have the time and if you are not making all of this money, it makes a lot more sense to actually book appointments. So in this phase, we are going to talk all about how to book these appointments. So yeah, our goal is to first make your calendar look like this. After that, you can think about booking. After that, you can think about selling in the DM. So first, we want to optimize for the conversion, because that's what we need. So first, talk about the 10 pillars of the DM risk. So first of all, you are selling the call, not the actual service in the DMs. And don't take rejection personally. Embrace it. You are doing this to help people who are already interested, so you are not needy. And treat them as a friend and talk like that. Don't be attached to a single conversation. Have an abundance mindset and hold your frame. You control the direction of the conversation, because if you lose the direction, if you lose the frame, actually the prospect will take the lead and you'll lose your authority. So we don't want that. And you need to track your numbers and conversations to have data, as well as to have the data to follow up with people and actually not miss any leads. So having quality content and optimized profile is a huge part of booking sales calls, because as we also talked about before, having your brand builds trust, and now people are all about trust. So even if you have the best DM scripts, even if you have the best DM flows, whatever, if you don't build trust, it's really hard to book sales calls, let alone sell to people. So you might not be great at first, but you'll get better as you practice, like everything. And use open-ended questions instead of yes or no questions, because with the yes or no questions, the conversation dies out really quickly. So here's my conversational framework that I use to book hundreds of appointments, and also hundreds of appointments as a both creator and as an appointment setter. Not hundreds, but 100 plus, let's say. So first, creating context. This is the opening of the conversation, and the opening and the first part of the conversation has two main goals: getting the highest open rates, and then creating context and familiarity to actually reduce their guards and let them actually talk freely to you, because people have their guards up because everyone is trying to sell to people, and you'll be coming from an authority with a good message while building relationships, and we'll slowly let their guards down so that they'll share what they're actually doing, their problems, all that stuff. So this is really important. And the second phase is finding the gap. The main goal of this phase is to find a problem or find their desire and actually find the gap between them. You want to find their desire, their goals, find them out, and then find their problem or where they're at, and actually make them see the gap. And that's really important, because if they don't have the gap, if there's not a gap between their current situation and their desired situation, they don't have a incentive to jump on a call with you, because there needs to be desire, there needs to be pain, basic human psychology. And after we basically establish the pain, the next part is all about sparking curiosity. Now we are going to talk about our results, how we do these things. We'll give some insights, if you focus on these, you'll get better results. You are focusing on the wrong thing right now. I focused on this thing instead of that and got these results, all that type of stuff. And this will create curiosity and actually make people want to jump on a call with you. So as I said, you can share your results, your systems, how you help people, and without revealing too much, because if you reveal too much, you are basically killing the curiosity to make them jump on a call with you. And the last step is the call pitch. If you executed the previous steps correctly, the pitch will be smooth and natural after sparking curiosity and observing that they show interest. Obviously, read the room. If they keep talking but they are not showing interest, they are not opening up about their problems and you don't see any interest, don't pitch the call. Just thank them for their time, maybe offer them a free value, maybe offer them your lead magnet. So it's always important to read the room, otherwise you won't look that professional. So ask them a question to confirm their interest. You can say that, are you open to talk more about this? Do you want me to walk you through my system? Or I have a few ideas about this topic that you are struggling with, like are you open to hear more about it? These are all good ways to basically understand the interest, see their interest. So this, to summarize, selling on calls has higher conversion than DMs, and at first we have to optimize for that. Another thing is make sure you find the gap so that this will incentivize the call, and then you can create some curiosity and make them jump on a call very quickly. So this is actually pretty straightforward and easier to understand, but even most people make a lot of mistakes even though they understand this. So the practice is key, and also getting feedback and support from someone that knows this is key, because when you are looking at your own stuff, it's sometimes really hard to see your own mistakes. So that's why I recommend that. And now it's all about full stack lead gen, because now we built a lot of like traffic sources, our emails, our like social media following. We are getting a lot of engagers, followers that we can warm DM to, or we are getting inbound leads from email, from social media. We have our community. So we have a lot of different lead sources that we can generate leads from. And I used to think that every lead is the same, but it's not. So closing each of these leads is a different game. That's why I suggest you dial in your game for each channel. And warm DMs take longer than inbounds. So if you try to chat out with an inbound lead, you may lose them. That's why we actually build our offer doc. So when you have an inbound lead, you can send them the offer doc and actually let them learn more about you without going too much back and forward, because they are really hot at that point and we want to capitalize on that. So that's really important. And also you'll get leads from your community, so you have to treat them differently. Now that you built authority and momentum, you'll have leads from a lot of places. So having a solid process is key for each of them. But there is more. There are customer awareness levels. Depending on the lead source and how much time you spend with them, the leads will have different awareness levels. So here's like a chart. Some of them will be unaware, some of them will be problem aware, some of them will be solution aware, and some of them will be aware of your product, your service, about you. So it's important to pinpoint where the lead is and kind of create our strategy around that. If someone is really unaware, like you can send them your content, your lead magnet, your like YouTube video, whatever. If they are problem aware, then you can send them more of an authority content type, maybe a different lead magnet that shows authority, or an authority content, or just having a conversation. If they are solution aware, you can basically book them on a call. So every lead is basically different and you can have different processes for that. And to summarize, once you grow your brand to a certain point, you'll get leads from many places, and different leads require different sales processes. So that's about it. That's why it's called full stack lead gen, and that's why we are generating leads from different places, and we are basically capitalizing on all these assets that we built to monetize. And then the next phase is smooth sales. So first of all, I'm not the most qualified person when it comes to sales, and I used to suck at it, but I'm not saying that I'm best at sales right now. But most of my revenue came from closing people on the sales call, not on the chat. So I think in sales, these are the most important things: the authority and the mindset. So even if you have the best sales tactics, even if you have the best strategies, like the best voice, like best confidence, all that stuff, if the prospect is coming to the call and they are not sure that you'll deliver, they are not sure that you have the results, if they are not sure that your methods will work for them, like these sales tactics will basically do nothing for you. So we need to make sure that the lead is basically warm and he understands your methods, he understands what you do. So that's really important to build authority. And the best way to build authority is show proof. So the way I like to do that is basically after they book the call, they see the thank you page. There are like a lot of social proof there. They are being sent like resources. They can check out the resources. And basically I don't do cold DMs. I don't book calls with cold people. So if I'm warm DMing them, they at least consume some of my content. If they are inbound, they probably consume some of my content. So that's how you build authority. And when it comes to mindset, before having a sales call, here are the few things that I think about. So first of all, you shouldn't think that you have the results they want and they are coming to you. So you are in power, you have the results, and talk less than the prospect, because if you talk more, you are basically creating this environment that it feels like you are always trying to explain yourself, and they'll listen and they'll decide if they want to work with you. But we want to kind of make them qualify, and the best way to do that is talk less, ask questions, qualify them, learn more about them. That's the most important thing. And we can have the doctor frame while doing that. That's even better. So we are like a doctor. The doctor always have the authority, and he asks questions to find the pain, and then describes the recipe, describes like the medicine. So that's what we want to emulate, like the doctor frame. It's like a really good example. And we need to first talk about the problems, then the solutions, because if you don't discover the problems first, like the solution doesn't mean anything. So the doctor first kind of finds out the problem, like the diagnosis is, like goes through everything, and then prescribes the solution. So we want to go that way. And if you just say that, if you just jump on a call and say that, oh, I have the solution, like I have Facebook ads, like do you want it? People won't want it, because first we want to make them understand that we understand their problems. They may have problems, but they need to see that you are understanding their problems. So that's actually really important, being relatable and understanding their problems. And another thing is downward inflection voice. This is actually really important, because if you kind of go to a higher pitch at the end like this maybe, so I actually do that a lot still, and it's not the most optimal thing, but if you have the authority, if you have the mindset, I don't think that this matters that much, because when I'm talking to people, like if I see that I can help, if I see that I have value to provide, maybe even in this video, I get excited sometimes, so I go to a higher pitch voice maybe. But if you have all the other things down, I don't think that this is a huge issue. But if you add this, this will obviously build even more momentum. So this is also important. And asking the hard questions is really important. So great salespeople ask the hardest questions, because if you just ask the vanilla questions, you don't get the real answers, the real problems. So as we also talked about here, first we need to find out the problems, and then we can prescribe the solution. So because of that, in order to find the real deep problem, it always comes from asking the hard questions. And this is all for me about sales. So to summarize, having a personal brand increases your close rates more than the sales skills, and having results, having authority, having a solid brand is really important. And that's why sales is mostly about authority and mindset. So having variety of proof is the best way to actually build authority, because everyone will be different. Let's say some prospect came to you and you show maybe your results, and they say that, okay, you have this result, but my situation is different. So now if you can show a result that's similar to them, this will increase your close rates a lot. So one social proof is not enough. Like the more you have, the better, because now you have variety and it will be more relatable to them. So that's about it. So in order to summarize the leveraged client acquisition phase, first, selling on calls has higher conversion than selling in DMs, and make sure you find the gap first to incentivize the call. And once you grow, you'll have a lot of leads and a lot of different places. So make sure we optimize the process for different leads at different awareness levels, which is pretty important. And having a personal brand is really important to increase your sales rate and all that stuff. So that's actually the same thing we talked about here. So let's continue. Yeah, so this is the overall summary. You can pause here and look at all this stuff to remember all the things that we covered. So even if you have the best strategies, even if you have the best course, you may sometimes get stuck, because every situation is different and the theory is different than execution. Because, for example, I know that these strategies and these methods here that I showed you is working right now and will continue to work later. But at the same time, like, for example, I use these strategies with my clients and they sometimes get stuck. That's why they have me. So they reach out to me. They say that, oh, I got stuck here, and we help them. And we basically make sure that they are making progress, because when it comes to implementation, everyone is different and you may get stuck. It may require a lot of trial and error to implement these strategies for you. And that's why actually I am here. So if you want my personalized help implementing all of these things that I mentioned here, you can either go to the first link in the description, or you can scroll down and basically find my X link and DM me leverage, and I'll see how I can help. So this is all for this video, and hope you enjoyed it, and see you on the next one.